Corruption within the South African Police Service has infuriated National Police Commissioner Kehlasi Tole. 17 police officers attached to the East London Port of Entry Authority have been arrested on allegations of fraud and corruption. Now we're joined on the line now by SAPS spokesperson Vish Naidoo. Vish, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Just take us through exactly what it is that these police officers did.
A very good morning, and thank you once again for this opportunity. Well, these 17 police officers are alleged to have inflated invoices during the stay at a guest house deep in the Eastern Cape. These members are stationed at the East London, or should I say, the East London Harbour. There are 14 of them, 2 of which are commissioned officers, that's captains, and the rest are non-commissioned officers, which are constables, sergeants, and warrant officers. So they were deployed to this area during the festive season 2016-2017, that's December 2016, January 2017, to conduct special operations. And while they were there, they were of course given finances for accommodation, and they apparently requested the guest house to inflate the invoices so that they could claim more money than was actually needed for the accommodation. And of course, through information and intelligence, an investigation was initiated, and these members were subsequently arrested earlier this week. They were charged for fraud, corruption, and as well as forgery and uttering. Okay, so what is their status at the moment within the police? Obviously, they are suspended. Well, the first and foremost, these members they appeared in court, in the East London Magistrates Court, where all of them were granted R1,000 bail each. The process of suspension, and when I say the process, it is indeed a process. Due processes have to be followed. So members would ordinarily be served with a notice of intention to suspend, which process is currently underway. They're given time in which to make a representation as to why they shouldn't be suspended, and then management will consider their representations, and thereafter take a decision on whether or not they should actually be suspended. For us, this is a very serious case. We would have just loved, on the spur of the moment, to just suspend these members and let them go through the normal disciplinary as well as criminal prosecutions. But of course, we have to follow these due processes as it's outlined in our precepts. Vish, while I have you on the line, can you just give us an update as well on this unfortunate story of the mother in Soweto who was given a life sentence and for protecting her child's rapist? We still don't know who the perpetrator was, who the rapist was. Can you give us an update on that? Are we any closer to finding out who it is? Yeah, that's indeed a rather unfortunate story, but even equally infuriating, that a mother could actually protect a perpetrator after, discovering that a 2-month-old baby has been raped. And in November last year, this child was admitted at the Baragwanath Hospital in Soweto. The doctor contacted the police at Meadowlands. We, of course, opened a case, and our sergeant from the Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit, Sergeant Lekwate, was tasked with the investigation, and together with a senior advocate deployed from the South Gauteng High Court, they worked very hard on this matter and set a landmark ruling when the mother got convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for apparently protecting the perpetrator in this matter. And because of her, we are unable to actually pin this case on any particular person. Although we have suspicion, but I think she would have been a critical witness in our efforts to identify and prosecute the actual perpetrator in this matter. And now we're sitting in a situation where a 2-month-old child was raped and the perpetrator is out there just because the mother had changed the story several times and refused to come forward and give us information on who may have committed this erroneous deed on this child. Surely if she's, protecting, such a person, there must be somebody close, a family member, breadwinner of some sort? Generally, I don't want to speculate in this particular matter, but generally, it is, cases like this, the perpetrator is very close to home. It's a family member or a very close friend. We have our suspicions, which of course I cannot, say publicly at this stage. we need evidence or we need supporting statements, to help us to successfully prosecute in a matter like this. But generally, in cases like this, and we say it all the time, that children, women, young girls become victims of crime by perpetrators that are known to the victim more often than not.
It's a very upsetting case. Thank you so much. That was Colonel Vish Naidoo, the SAPS spokesperson.